Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron, and as always, the show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Tees and Trees is where we stand on business. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're viewing the show. The Front Office Podcast welcomes you. If you would, please like and subscribe and share if you're rocking with us. Hope everybody's doing well. Today is Friday. It's about 2 in the morning, man. No cross-country practice in the morning, so I'm up late. A lot of news to go through. A lot of things have happened since my last episode, so I'm gonna try to keep it kind of short, but not necessarily. I don't want to say brief. It's a few topics I want to make sure I actually touch on thoroughly. But I want to start with the WNBA. Hold that. Let me bring that back. Okay, no, let's not start with the WNBA. We had some NBA news this week. We had Monty Williams, the head coach for the Detroit Pistons, got fired after one season, owed about $65 million left on his contract. Detroit had no problem letting him go. We also had a trade today. Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. Caruso will be on the Oklahoma City Thunder next year, and Giddey will be going to the Bulls. And I think the biggest news so far has been the hiring of JJ Redick to the Los Angeles Lakers as the head coach. We're going to start right there. My thoughts on JJ Redick actually getting the job with the Lakers. I don't think the podcast that he does with LeBron is the reason why he got the job, but I definitely don't think it hurt. Do I think he's a good hire? JJ Redick has zero coaching experience, has never coached an NBA team. In that regard, it is a little, it makes you kind of take a step back and see, what are you guys doing over here? What's going on? But at the same time, if you listen to JJ Redick, I actually listen to his podcast. I listen to the one he has with LeBron. You watch him on TV. He talks a good game. Very intelligent, high basketball IQ, understands the NBA and where it's going. I think that's important, being able to see the vision down the road. And I think it's a good hire. I think he has to have a really strong staff. I've heard names like Sam Cassell. Rajon Rondo is rumored to be in the runnings for an assistant coaching job. I think those two guys will be great for JJ, especially dealing with those veteran players. I mean, you're going to need to get the respect out of all those guys. I'm assuming they keep Phil Handy on the payroll, the longtime Lakers assistant. He was with the Cavs. He pretty much goes wherever LeBron is, so I'm pretty sure he'll stay on the payroll. And if you can pull off that, that'll be great, but it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if it actually works out. I think he's done the job of winning over LeBron and AD. It's getting the respect of the other players and being able to buy in. And can you coach? Can you be able to draw up a play? Can you come up with a system that maximizes the talent that's currently on your roster or the talent that you're about to get? And I think that's what it comes down to. But I don't think it's a bad hire, but we're going to see. I'm not sure if it's a hire for the future. For him, I hope it works out. But as of right now, it's just the moment, and we'll see next season. And we'll see what kind of moves they make going into the draft. The Alex Caruso and Josh Giddey trade, semi-big news. I think it's a great move for the Thunder. You get you a 3-and-D guy, Alex Caruso. And when I say 3-and-D, no, he's not a sharp shooter or anything like that, but he is way more defensively aware than Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey is a good player, not necessarily the best defender. I think that's why he didn't play a lot in the playoffs. He was very vocal. It hit the news. He was very vocal about not being happy about getting the minutes that he was getting. And I think the Thunder understood that they need to make a move, even though they finished number one in the West, didn't get out the second round, want to secure the team the best way they can. And I always say that their front office is one of the best in the league. So I think it's a great move for the Thunder. As far as the Bulls, I'm not sure if they're just clearing cap room and getting players. Giddey's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. Definitely can improve on the defensive side of the ball and shooting. Definitely a very good playmaker, though. Very good playmaker, runs the floor, plays hard, pretty healthy, never really hurt like that. So we'll see how it works out with the Bulls, but I definitely think the Thunder won that trade as of right now. What was the last thing? What was the first thing I said? It's 2 in the morning. Y'all know I'm stoned, man. My bad. Um. Oh, WNBA. The WNBA, man, has been a very pleasant surprise this year. Not because of, I mean, of course, because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Cameron Brink and all the great rookies that they have and all the attention that's been brought to the game. But if you're sitting watching the games, you're really seeing a lot of talent. And the first person I want to make sure I introduce you to, if you don't know her, is Dejanay Carrington. She plays for the Connecticut Sun. She is the point guard. She is an absolute menace. She is the defensive player of the year in my book. I've not seen anybody be as that intentional, intense, smart. I mean, everything that she does on the floor as far as defensively is impressive. Can she shoot it a little bit better? Yeah, she can improve on her jump shot. Not a bad shooter. Definitely can score the basketball, rebounds well. The Connecticut Sun are, easily the number one team in the league right now. New York Liberty is right behind them with Anisku and Breonna Stewart and Jacquel Jones. They got some great pieces. They played in the finals last year. I think they're a game, maybe 2 games behind the Sun. So they're right there. I think the third spot belongs to the Storm right now. Is it a Storm? Yeah, I think it's the Seattle Storm. I'm sorry. The Minnesota Lynx is third. I haven't watched them play yet. I've watched just about everybody in the league play except for the Minnesota Lynx. I haven't had a chance to watch them play yet, so I can't tell you a lot about them. I know they have a talented roster currently, and they are competing. They are currently in third place, and if the playoffs started today, they'd be the third seed. So that's a good move for them. I believe the Atlanta Dream or Seattle Storm is number 4. They've got a good team. They did play the Aces the other day and kind of got whipped up a little bit. Made me kind of think, are they really the number 4 seed? Because the Aces didn't have Chelsea Young. She's back. You got Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Asia Wilson, Kelly. What is her name? Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum is the other player that I'm thinking of. And they got a lot of other good players on the Aces that are defending champs. You definitely can't count them out. But they kind of beat up on Seattle the other last night. And I just was like, whoa, is Seattle really the number 3 seed? But you got to respect their seeding, see how the rest of the season goes. I think they're at 3. So that means who's at 4? I forget who's at 4. I know the Aces are at 5. I think the Atlanta Dream are at 6. Not the Mystics. The Mystics currently have one of the worst teams in the league, or records, I should say, not teams. I'm sorry, ladies. One of the worst records in the league. And then the Fever, the Indiana Fever, are holding up the rear at the 8th spot, and the Sky are right behind them. That's very interesting. I think the WNBA, and they should want Caitlin and Angel Reese to get into the playoffs. But in order for that to happen, those teams have to come together. Both teams have made some changes. Both teams have made some real changes. Let's start with the Fever. I think they're playing faster. They're taking Caitlin off the ball a lot more. Aaliyah Boston is being featured a lot more, which I love to see it. I do think she's a very talented player, and she's a key piece to that. The Mitchell, last name Mitchell, I forget her first name. I don't want to mess it up, but she is a walking bucket. They have some good pieces. They have some really good pieces. They got some outside shooting besides Caitlin. Caitlin is becoming more of a creator than just a flat-out scorer, which I think helps that team. Her and Boston are kind of clicking. The Mitchell girls clicking. So the Fever have changed up how they're approaching the game, and it's helped them. It's helped Caitlin. I think they've won 3 straight, but they do have a tough stretch of games. Their next 6 games against all the top 8 teams. So it's a tough stretch for them, and it's the same thing for the Sky. Angel Reese is having an amazing year, 7 double-doubles in a row. I think she's the rookie of the year right now. Easy call, but it's a long season. They also have a a tough road. They've kind of faltered a little bit, but Teresa Witherspoon did make a good change. I like her putting Kennedy Carter in the starting lineup. I was wondering why she wasn't there. Maybe Teresa was just being a little careful, didn't think she was really ready for the moment, but first start, she had a great game. Second start, she had 19 points, and they get the W. They got a big game on Sunday at 4 o'clock, man. Everybody tune in. It's always fireworks when they play. Always fireworks when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark play. So I'm impressed. The Mercury is the other team I was thinking about. The Mercury are currently in the top 8 as well with Dinah Taurasi, Brittany Griner. They got a lot of shooters on the Mercury. They got a lot of shooters. Remind me of the Pacers a little bit. You know what I mean? They play fast. They shoot the ball a lot, and they get out and they get after you. So I'm very impressed with the season. They're going to have a break right around the end of July. I believe the Olympics are from July 26th to August 1st. So we'll see how that break affects everybody. But like I said, I think everybody's getting into the meat of their schedule right now where they're going to be playing a lot of good teams. And, wins matter right now. I think that the season is like 42 games, probably a third away. We probably are a third of the way done. But, yeah, WNBA, man. I'm all in. And Dejanay Carrington, man, I'm telling you, Dejanay Carrington is a fucking menace, and she is not to be played with. She gives you attitude, she gives you swag off the court. Smart player, you can tell she's a real vet, man. I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for the Sun. I'm definitely rooting for the Sun, but I got love for Asia and the Aces, man. Asia's Columbia, South Carolina. Never gonna turn my back on the home team. Never gonna turn my back on them, but. Right now, Dejanay is definitely my favorite WNBA player. But let's move to the Celtics, man. 18th championship, beat the Dallas Mavericks 4-1 in the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics have been the best team in the NBA all year. I definitely thought Denver was a contender. I thought Minnesota was a contender. I even thought Philly for a little while was a contender, but I never really wavered off of my pick of the Boston Celtics. They've been my pick personally for the last 3 years. And just because of their core, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, once they added Drew Holiday and Porzingis, I wasn't sold with the Porzingis thing. Honestly, I wasn't sold with the Porzingis thing until Brad Childress added Drew Holiday, I think it was a day or two before training camp. Watching Drew interact with them and watching them all year, my thing was, were they going to be able to raise their level consistently enough to be able to win the championship? And I think they proved that. I definitely thought they were the most talented group. I still think they're the most talented team. As of right now, no trades, no free agency, no draft, or anything like that. Boston is the most talented team, top to bottom. They're the deepest team. Joe Mazzulla, who's been heavily criticized by even former Celtics, like Kendrick Perkins, got on national TV and called the man a bird brain. How's that working out for you? Probably not working out too well. Maybe you should learn how to shut the hell up sometimes. But, I digress on that particular situation. But I do think Boston played amazing. Jaylen Brown getting Finals MVP, well-deserved, earned it. Eastern Conference MVP, well-deserved, earned it. Jason Tatum played great. I thought he was great. I didn't think he shot the ball well, particularly as far as the playoffs are concerned, but being able to adjust and do other things so your team can win is what a winner does. He wasn't shooting the ball well. So, one game he goes out there and he gets 18 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. Another game he has 10 assists. The game he does shoot well, which was game 5, 31 points. I think it was 9 rebounds, 7 assists, or 9 assists, 7 rebounds, vice versa. He was amazing. They have a really good core in Boston, and it's not going anywhere. Like, Tatum is going to sign his extension. He's going to get like $315 million, whatever crazy ass number they're going to give because of the new TV deal. Jaylen Brown has already been extended. Al Horford is probably going to come back. I don't know. I think Al should probably go out on retirement, but Al probably wants to win another ring, and Al looks like he can still play. Al can still play. He's not really injured. He takes care of his body. constant vet, great locker room guy. Al probably comes back. Porzingis is locked up. Drew Holiday is locked up. Derek White is locked up. All these pieces, and they still have draft picks this year. They can still make trades. I think the one guy in that Celtics run that's probably not going to get a lot of credit is going to be Brad Stevens. I don't know why I want to call him Brad Childress. Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens moved from the head coaching job to the front office when Danny Ainge left. Danny Ainge, quiet as kept, great GM. Made a lot of great moves. Definitely delivered Boston the championship with that first big three with Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. And Rajon Rondo, let's not forget him. But when he stepped away and Brad Stevens took the job, I think everybody, was kind of looking and seeing. And Stevens was quiet. He didn't do a lot of talking. They lost a couple times early the last 2 years. Not even early, but they lost a couple times when they were probably projected to win it. And a lot of people thought they were going to get there. They even got to the finals and lost to an older Golden State team. Understandable. Brown and Tatum just weren't as developed as they are now. And I think that you're going to see that with a lot of other teams and a lot of other players. Some of these guys are just young. Just because you don't win it doesn't mean you're a bust, so you have to break things up. Sometimes you just got to change the formula a little bit in order to make the equation correct. And that's just how it works. I thought Brown stayed the course. I thought Tatum stayed the course. I thought the entire organization, team, everybody stayed the course. And look what it got them. Got them their 18th championship in a great position to repeat. As far as Dallas is concerned, I don't think Dallas has anything to hold their head about. Luka is progressing. He's gotten to the Western Conference Finals. They broke through this year, got to the finals. They have a good young core. Luka, Kyrie's older, but I don't think Kyrie's going anywhere. You got Derek Jones. I think he's a free agent. He might not even be a free agent. I don't think they have a lot of free agents. And they have draft capital. They still have room for free agency and things of that nature. They'll be competitive. Their road is going to be harder just because of the conference that they play in. They play in the West. Those teams are always making moves. It's a lot of talent out West, so it's hard to come out the West. So, I don't think they have anything to hold their head about or think, the season's a failure. Because to be real, if you wasn't a Dallas Mavericks fan, you weren't picking them to win get to the finals. If you weren't a Dallas Mavericks fan, you were not picking them to go to the finals. I think Tim Legler is the only analyst I saw after the Gafford and P.J. Washington trade that said, hey, Dallas is my dark horse to get to the finals. Nobody else picked them. As a matter of fact, once they got there, everybody picked them. Stephen A. Smith, not Kendrick Perkins, a lot of these guys. I got Dallas. I got Dallas in 6. Dallas, and I was just confused because I'm like, are y'all looking at the same fucking thing? Like, I love Kyrie Irving. I love Luka Doncic. They are amazing basketball players. They are not going to be able to handle this Boston defense like they've been handling the other defenses because Boston is too deep defensively. I think everybody's forgetting that. Everybody's forgetting how effective Derek White is as a defender. Drew Holiday as a defender. Then you got your two best players that you're paying $300 million plus to who are playing defense. They're tall. Jason Tatum is 6'10". Jaylen Brown is like 6'7", 6'8". These are big athletic guys really, really locking in on the defensive side of the ball. So, with that being said, I just thought Dallas was going to struggle a little bit. I thought they were going to have to be a little perfect and have a little bit of luck, and they just didn't have it. Doesn't mean Jason Kidd isn't a good coach, and it doesn't mean that you need to blow it up and break it up. And I don't think they will, but that's the demands of social media and the media in general. They're going to create something to make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world when you don't win. When Boston lost to Golden State, it was all break it up, break it up, break it up. I think Jalen Rose is the guy who was like, do not break that shit up. And I agree. And look what happened. You get your 18th banner, and now those guys have gotten over the hump. Now they know what it feels like to get to that point. They know what it takes to win the championship. They're going to be hungry for more. I wouldn't be surprised, maybe not next year, and maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown end up getting 2 or 3 together. I wouldn't be surprised at all. just because of that talent level, that core group around them, the organization, top to bottom. I think they can get it done. But as far as me is concerned and the Front Office Podcast, I'm going to take me a little bit of a break. I'm going to do some reels and things of that nature, just, on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page, which is High Skies Visions. And we'll do some YouTube shorts, but I'm going to take about a mental week and a half break. And I'm going to lock back in all the way on the WNBA. We got the Olympics coming up. I think I said July 26th to the 1st. I think it's July 26th to the 11th, August 11th. So that's going to be going on for a while. And then, of course, everybody loves football, man. We got football coming. Got some interviews this summer. Co-host Katie Murphy, shout out to her. She's going to be coming through, and we're going to be doing some different things, man. So just going to give me a quick mental break, man. But it's been a fun NBA season. Can't wait to see what the WNBA has to offer us this year as far as the rest of the season is concerned. Don't forget the Sky are playing the Fever at 4 o'clock on Sunday. That's going to be a great game. Everybody should tune in. I am your host, Marcus Cameron. This is the Front Office Podcast. Tees and Trees is the clothing line. Peace.